I think some weirdo in the holler snatched her.
So you think it was like an opportunity thing? Like she
yeah.
was unattended?
Somebody's been over the house a couple times, knows the road.
But where is she?
Who knows?
Summer Wells was 5 years old when she was reported missing from the Ben Hill Road area of Beech Creek in Hawkins County, Tennessee. We already know who most of the suspects are. Their names, their habits, their alibis, their grudges. That list has been written and rewritten 100 times over. But this isn't about suspects. It's about Summer Wells. It's about tracing her path, following the scent, the footprints, the intersections that tell us where she may have been taken, where she may have paused, and where the trail speaks the loudest. Criminal intelligence doesn't just hunt people. It hunts truth in the patterns they leave behind. And the truth here is that until Summer is found, suspects are just distractions. And it's not about finding suspects anymore, it's about finding Summer.
Damn, killer. It's so good.
In a missing child case, the concept of line of travel becomes one of the most important anchors for understanding what happened. Every footprint, every scent trail, and every physical disturbance in the environment acts like a breadcrumb. When pieced together, these elements form directional lines that investigators can map out. The importance is not just in the fact that a trail exists, it's in what the direction of that trail tells you. Footprints, for example, are not only about presence but momentum. A single print might tell you the child moved from point A to B, but when multiple prints are discovered, layered, diverging or converging, they begin to reveal choices, maybe hesitation or handoffs or even a possible pursuit. Likewise, a scent trail picked up by a trained dog can show continuity beyond where the human eye loses track of physical impressions. A child may leave only intermittent prints in the ground, but scent particles linger and can extend that directional line of travel far beyond what visible evidence alone provides. When you lay these lines of travel over a map, footprints in one direction, a dog's scent alert in another, you begin to see patterns. Sometimes they parallel, confirming the same route. Sometimes they intersect, which is where things become critical. Intersections may reveal points of contact, where the child met another individual, where a vehicle was stationed, or where confusion or resistance occurred. Criminal intelligence analysis treats these intersections not as accidents, but as signals. They suggest intent, opportunity, and often the hand of another party. By aligning multiple lines of travel, footprints, scent trails, and eyewitness accounts, you're not just drawing paths, you're overlaying behaviors. You can begin to see if the child was wandering randomly, being guided, or forcibly redirected. It is in these moments of overlap that the investigative picture sharpens. Criminal intelligence thrives on these correlations. A line of travel doesn't just tell you where someone went, it shows you what happened when their path crossed with someone else's. Everything begins at the Wells home. This is where Candace Bly, Summer's mother, says she just disappeared. From there, the Summers scent trail was lost at the end of the driveway or dog trail area, suggesting to many that she was put into a vehicle and driven away. But this is where it gets interesting, because her scent doesn't leave Ben Hill, it enters it. Because the next scent hit was more towards the centre of Ben Hill, near a private property bridge. What's significant is that the scent doesn't stray off, it follows a defined path, suggesting either purposeful movement or transport. It continues in alignment a little further into Ben Hill Road until it reaches near a particular property that we will circle back to in a bit. It is here that, just a little bit further into Ben Hill, is Fred's driveway, where scent dogs hit as well. The cluster of multiple scents in this area, in criminal intelligence, is extremely important. That's a hot zone, a place where scent accumulates or renews, often meaning the child, or the object carrying the scent, paused, was transferred or handed off. We can see a direct line or path of travel in these scents when zooming out and looking at the bigger picture. If Summer had just wandered off, you would think these scents would be more erratic, but they follow a certain line of travel, pointing to a defined path or direction. Now let's look at the footprints. One footprint was found high on a ridge, not far from Summer's home. A scent dog confirmed the hit. Don later said he went looking for the prints near an unfinished cabin, but what he found instead were 2 trailers.
Okay, let me explain it to you the best that I can. I talked to TBI about that, okay? So if you come out Ben Hill Road, okay, let me start with the scent dog. They smelled her clothes. We watched. Well, me and Candace watched the whole thing happen. So they took some of her fresh clothes out of the dirty laundry. The dog smelled it. They took them to the basement door. The dog went straight down the dog trail to Ben Hill Road down there. And the dog circled when it got down there and lost the scent. To me, meaning that she was thrown in a car and drove out of here. Okay. So the footprints, okay, if you go out on Ben Hill Road and you go west, so you go past our property all the way to the end, and you get down a little ways west up this way, there's a dirt road. I can't remember the name of the road.
Whoever is responsible for June 15th was most likely out here watching. And by the way, Dawn, the name of the road is Sampson.
But you turn left into that and you'll see a bunch of no trespassing signs and all that. You follow the dirt road and it takes you all the way up on top of that hill up there, which overlooks our property. When you're up there, you can look down on our property and see our house. You're looking down on our house, and we live on a hill, so it's pretty high hill. So there's an unfinished cabin up there. This is the way TBI explained it to me. There's an unfinished cabin up there, and it rained like 2 or 3 days before Summer come up missing. So they found a footprint around an unfinished cabin, and I went up there and I looked everywhere, and I don't know what they're talking about, an unfinished cabin. I found a trailer. I found 2 trailers, and the other property I was kind of scared to go up around, but I looked everywhere.
If you come down your driveway right here,
Yep.
you come up through here, you turn up towards Mary Sexton's house, that's Simpson Road. So that it dead ends, but it because of a gate, right?
Yeah.
Right here.
Yep.
Okay, and then it comes on down here. So
that's the road I've been up 100 times.
Right.
Up on top of that hill right there.
So Josh's land would be right here.
And that hill right there overlooks our property.
And then the back here would be where those prints were back on behind Mary Sexton's. That's Mary's house right here.
Oh shit! Is it? Yep, that's right.
And then back here, yep. This is Cricket.
Oh, right there.
Go ahead.
That hill right there overlooks our property.
Those trailers carried a history, passing through the hands of names like Simpson, Arnold, and even Don's own stepsister, Mary Sexton. At the time Summer disappeared, it was an Arnold man who owned the 2 trailers Don spoke of. And oddly enough, at the same time Summer went missing, the map shows an unfinished cabin. It also shows what seems to be a dark blue truck with tinted windows at the 2 trailers. Was this Arnold somehow connected to Chad Arnold, who was located near the intersection of the lines of travel when Summer went missing? This would be considered an anomaly. In criminal intelligence, an anomaly is a pattern, event, or data point that deviates significantly from what is considered normal or expected. These inconsistencies often indicate potential criminal behavior, security risks, or threats that warrant further investigation. The Arnold man later sold the 2 trailers to the same man living on top of the ridge where one of the prints were found. He was a local preacher man, the same one who opened his church as the command center for the search.
When the preacher preached about Jesus dying on Calvary, and he preached about judgment, and he preached about eternal damnation, and finally, somehow or another, that message clicked with you, and you started thinking, I need to get things right. I'm not in a good standing with God. I don't want to be eternally damned. I can't seem to make the contact that I want to make. I can't seem to hear the voice that I want to hear. And something tells you that your body is what's in the way. And so you start thinking, I wish I could just shed this body. You ever been in a situation going so good, and you'd like to say, God, just come take me now. I don't need to go through all this. I just want to get out of this body and out of this situation. There's a scene in the Bible. There's been gathering around a sacrifice that has been made, and they're praying around that sacrifice. They're praying to a false god, a god named Baal, and they're cutting themselves and slashing themselves with their sharp objects, letting blood out of themselves because there's something wrong with their body and they need to get in touch with what they consider the divine because they need fire to come down out of heaven and consume their sacrifice. And so you're starting to get tense and disturbed a little bit. But then somehow the conversation leads a little bit further and you start talking about the resurrection and how, well, what about Jesus rose from the dead? You don't need a body to be a light to this world. He wants us to be a city that's set up on a hill that cannot be hid. You'll have to have bodies if you're going to have a city on a hill that cannot be hid. It can betray you. Dust can do horrible things to you. Dust can be horrific upon the face of this earth, do unimaginable things. It can be sinful. It can be all those things. But yes, dust can also stretch out its arms on an old rugged cross and bear my sins, pay the price for my sin. Dust can spill blood that washes me from my unrighteousness.
Septic records later revealed more about the two trailers, a private cemetery in the back, and old logging roads that made a cut from the well's power line opening that went into the woods, forming a path. Straight to the cemetery. The cemetery had a deeded right-of-way drive that can never be blocked. What names are in this private cemetery? The other print was further down by Beach Creek Road. It suggested she was either dropped back off in the woods near the home or picked up by a vehicle, depending on the direction of travel. The prints aren't random, they align with each other, forming a direct path or direction in a certain line of travel, the same straight line as the scent path, but not parallel to it, intersecting with it. That alignment matters. When scent and prints agree in general bearing but are offset geographically, it often indicates multiple movements. One line could represent where the child physically walked at some point, while the other might reflect where scent drifted or where the child was carried or transported. But what really stands out is the intersection point. The red directional lines cross near the certain property we spoke about earlier. In criminal intelligence mapping, an intersection like this is rarely coincidental. It marks a convergence point, where two independent data streams, sent from one direction, prints from another, collide. That's where investigators would expect either a handoff, a vehicle staging, or an encounter. In other words, the intersection is the kind of X marks the spot location that intelligence analysts circle because it represents a higher probability of offender activity or victim transition. And as you know, here in RELLIK School, we do our research. When looking into this area where X marks the spot, we found some eerie information. Last year, this land was deemed abandoned and auctioned off. A few months ago, the new owners had an environmental scientist come out to assess the land and the septic system. They found an abandoned cabin and found nothing was hooked up to the septic system. The scientist reported he could never find the original septic approval or plans, but Killer did. You see, where the X marks the spot is 205 Ben Hill Road. Once Stedman and Redmond property, but now abandoned, and the person who had the unknown septic tank installed, Marvin Simpson. The septic is currently being erected and repaired for future use. If you connect all of this together, the well's home as the point of origin, the scent progression, the offset footprints being intersecting lines, and the one point in the middle where the paths collide. At the abandoned cabin, it suggests movement didn't scatter but funneled toward a particular zone. That's the kind of pattern that tells you this wasn't random wandering. It was guided, influenced, or intercepted. Did anyone live at 205 Ben Hill Road at the time Summer went missing? Was this spot on the map some sort of meeting spot at an abandoned location? What do you think? Criminal intelligence doesn't just hunt people, it hunts truth in the patterns they leave behind. And the truth is this: until Summer is found, suspects are nothing more than distractions. The only thing that matters, the only signal worth following, is Summer. And we are the focus to the distractions. No matter how hard you try to cover the truth, we will work 1,000,000 times harder, relentlessly. Some of you can chase shadows if you want to, but we are here to bring Summer into the light, and we will not stop until Summer is found.
I can say that we've been following up on information that we've received in the last few months. So it is very much an active investigation, and we will not give up.
We fucking do. If not for those pesky meddling kids.
Back to what I do. Catfish, Billy, baby, hello, how are you? You're my 9, rappers like a power line, fell into a swimming pool. I think I got the whole crew. Ooh, let me know what y'all wanna do. I bought a 30-pack of Creek water, baby boo. Not a 99, not a 99.99, not mine, I got 100 proof.
They're gonna be sorry they were ever born. Who? All of them.
Let's go. Yeah, make it look easy. Hey, stand up guy on 10 toes. Big body pull up in a Range Rover. I can change the whole game when I say so. I pull up, shut it down, yeah, they know. Running this game ain't a thing for me. I never switched up, no change in me. The only thing changing this season, you go against me, then you know that you tweaking, okay? Cause baby, I'm him, I be on 10. Two-stepping in the party, I do not dance. Watch how I move, make it look easy. Counting up wins, that's part of the plan. Blackmail, taking up my haters a CC. That can't fail, I'm not the reason we repeat. I'm knee deep, need a dub, best that you seek me. I'm too sick, yeah, I know I make it look easy. Yeah, tell them don't try to play me. Yeah, I'm drippy on the daily. They can never count me out, they can never count me out, I know. They can never count me out, they can never count me out, I know. I make it look easy, make it look easy. I know I make it look easy, make it look easy. I know I make it look easy, too smooth, I make it look easy. I know we make it look easy, make it look.
There's a formula to it. A very simple formula. Everybody's a suspect.
Break down my walls, but I will rise again. 'Cause I stand tall in my environment. How could I ever close my eyes and stay silent since they try to take me down with their violence?